I'm deeply involved in preserving ocean health because it's critical to people. It's an enormous source of food that we need to continue and in fact grow. It's an important environmental regulator of air quality and climate. And it's a really important source of spiritual and cultural vigor.
One of the goals in the Ocean Health Index is a sense of place, or how people relate to the ocean. And we track this in two ways, through iconic species like killer whales or sea otters, and what we call lasting special places. These places, whether they be a vista or a cultural or a religious site that people value because of its importance to who they are and how they define themselves. So these special places are really important to how people interact with and relate to the ocean, and whether those places are doing well or not really influences people's understanding of whether the ocean is a healthy system.
I mean, Elkhorn Slough is one of the few places I know, anywhere in the world, where you can stand underneath an oak tree and watch shark fins slicing through the surface of the water. The fact that we have this arm of the sea coming so far inland is really quite unique, and one of the reasons that we have such diversity here.
Raja Ampat, to our current state of knowledge, is the absolute global epicenter of marine biodiversity. So we have more species of fish, coral, crustacean, and other reef life than anywhere else on the planet. And to just give you a few quick examples, with corals alone, we have nearly 600 species of hard coral in Raja Ampat. That's nearly 10 times what you have in the entire Caribbean Sea in this small part of Indonesia.
You know, Elkhorn Slough has been a conservation target for many years, for decades now, starting with the Nature Conservancy. The reason is because it's a very unique area. Highly rich biological diversity here. And the scale is a scale that we can get our arms around, right? It's the scale, the size of a system that we can manage. There's a collegial atmosphere for problem solving here. And I think that that's really been key to one of the reasons that there's been a big investment in Elkhorn Slough in conservation.
Raja Ampat to me is it's one of the last great hopes for coral reefs. You know, if you listen to the common press and what's basically be bandied about with respect to coral reefs nowadays, it's mostly gloom and doom. But what we've seen in Raja Ampat is that this is an area which seems to have a strong resilience to climate change, but beyond that, it's so full of life, and we've watched it come back just in front of our eyes in the last 6 years, with a strong focus on local community management of the areas. The bomb fishing is gone, the cyanide fishing is gone, the sharks are now finally starting to show up again. They were absent completely by about the year 2000 due to strong shark fishing for fins. So it's an area of, everything about it is just pumping with life. And I can't help but feel that when I dive anywhere in Raja Ampat. You can see the currents moving past, you can see the diversity of life feeding on the plankton being brought in by those currents, and then you see the bigger fish coming in to feed on those that are feeding on the plankton. And it just, I can't help but feel that vivacity when you're there on a Raja Ampat coral reef.